Now let's look at the 1997 Ben Folds ballad called Brick. It's considered a ballad, but it's a medium tempo ballad, and our left hand is going to keep it really steady time. So the intro on this is not just a string of notes, it's a broken up chord. It's basically a D major chord, and we're in the key of D, which is that. But you're playing the A on the bottom of that, so it's with the A here. And there's an E added. Those are the four notes that you're using in the introduction. So the introduction, the pattern on the introduction is just that, 3 times. Then we get to 2 other chords that'll lead us into the verse. Your left hand, you can keep your left little finger on D, on low D. And you'll be able to play every note that the left hand plays until you get to the second half of the verse 2 by doing this. Okay, so here's the intro. We're going to play it pretty softly and smoothly. That's the end of the intro. Now the next section, your left hand is doing almost the same thing. Instead of a rhythm like this, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4. You're adding just a little more rhythmic drive by playing a note also on beat 4, the same note. So it's 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4. Okay, so the verse 1, will play smoothly just in the same style that we played the introduction. That'll give us somewhere to go later, and it also matches the feel of the lyrics, which talk about an early morning, getting up and going, leaving the house. Here we go. So here's the way the verse plays down. Back to the intro for an interlude. That's the beginning of verse 2 right there. So basically we work our way back into the introduction, and the left hand returns to that simpler rhythm. 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4. For that little interlude. Now the next verse is a lot the same as the first verse, but we want to add a little variety. We don't want to just play the same thing exactly like it was. So, well, let's try playing the left-hand notes with a little bit of an accent. We don't want to cover up the melody. A little bit of an accent and a little shorter. Okay? So this will be coming out of the last verse of that little interlude that's like the introduction. Getting into some new material, and that's the point at which your left hand is first going to have to move, the next chord after the one I just played. We've got a new section. It's a little louder, so we'll come up in volume going into this next part. It's still part of the verse, but it's just got a different melody. Okay, so this is the end of the part I just played. Here we go. Okay, and that's the end of that section. Now, interesting in here also is that your left hand is playing, instead of just single notes, you're playing some chords to fatten up the sound, and you have some more extended chords happening in your right hand. That's your D chord. It includes a C sharp in it and an E. So that's what that section's about, and we wanted to come up in volume and maybe smooth out the left hand as well too, compared to that second verse. Now, right where I ended, we do go into another transition into a completely different section. And both of your hands have to go up to a lot higher range on the keyboard. So you can use a little bit of pedal on that last chord. So going into She's a Brick and I'm Drowning, into that section. Coming out of the previous section, which is... right? You can use a little bit of pedal to hold that E that you play while you move your hands up to the next part, all right? Which is here. Your left hand has to move up more than an octave, almost an octave and a half, and your right hand does too. So, but your right hand has plenty of time to move up, okay? Because you got this, and then you have 2 beats that you can hold that with the pedal and move up to this next chord. So here, I'll play that last E7 chord. Okay, so I had plenty of time to move as long as I moved the pedal. So here we go. I'll play this next section here. And that's the end of the sung part of that, even though we're playing it. There we have a little more driving rhythm in the left hand, and we're still playing. We're playing fifths again. Also, at the end of that, you'll see that there's a B minor chord with some tension in it, and then an A chord with a lot of tension in it. It's an A chord with a D in it too, and that D is an octave up from the C sharp below it, which gives us a little tension, then it releases. Then we have a natural hold. You got to count through that hold because you play your final beat on beat 4, your final note on beat 4. So 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Count all the way through that accurately before you get to the next part. So 1, 2, 3. Then we're at the end. Like that. And we're going to play that quietly. And also, that's a figure called hemiola. You're counting by counting in 4, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4. But each note value is 1.5 beats. So every other time you'll be playing a note on the and of a beat. So if I were to continue that hemiola, it would sound like this: 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1 and 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4, 1, 2 and 3, 4. But it only lasts for 4 notes altogether. So it goes like this: 1, 2 and 3, 4, 1 and 2, 3, 4. We'll do a little retard on the end. Okay. Now let's see how it sounds all put together.